You know, as a big fan of video games growing up, Wreck-It Ralph was right up my alley. So you guys ready to feel old? Wreck-It Ralph is 10 years old this month. God help me. But yeah, welcome back to my channel. I love talking all things movies and entertainment, but sometimes I like looking back at the classic Disney movies because, well, I'm a massive geek sometimes. And seeing as how this film turns 10 years old this month, no more fitting time to talk about it than right now. And we follow this old arcade game that's 30 years old known as Fix-It Felix. The good guy, of course, is Fix-It Felix, the guy who's fixing up the apartment. And the villain of this game is Wreck-It Ralph, who is voiced by John C. Reilly, who takes this thing apart. And he's tired of always being the bad guy and getting chucked off the top of the building. And after decades of seeing all the glory go to Felix, Ralph decides to take matters into his own hands. He wants to be recognized for the hard work he's doing. He's looking specifically for a medal. So he sets off on a game hopping trip to prove that he has what it takes to be a true hero. Right off the bat, one of the biggest praises I can give Wreck-It Ralph is the concept. The fact that these gaming characters can basically use the wires to travel in between games like a big old gigantic portal and just shoot the breeze with one another. Ralph going to villain therapy. That was freaking awesome. And I'll admit, when I first saw the trailer as a sophomore in high school, I was hyped seeing all these classic video game characters in a Disney movie like this. But the trailers kind of throw you off the scent because it's kind of marketed to be like, oh, all these classic video game characters are going to be in this whole movie. And pretty much what you see in the trailer is all you get of these guys. But thankfully with Wreck-It Ralph, the story and the characters that they have here are good enough to stand on its own. And from that point, the video game characters, the classic ones, the real ones, they pretty much become afterthoughts. And that leads to what I believe to be one of the most fun Disney movies to come out in the past decade. Now, I don't think this is the best Disney movie to come out in the last decade or so. There are some issues with it, but it is very, very finite. The animation of this movie is top-notch, and the fact that they're able to realize this concept so well is absolutely jaw-dropping. It's a very colorful movie to look at as well. I mean, they just pop off the screen. And I love that they intersplice some of these classic video game overlays into the animation as well. Like, I love seeing Ralph go through the Pac-Man maze after he leaves therapy to go grab the cherries basically just for a snack. It's little things like that that just make Wreck-It Ralph so much darn fun. And the voice casts that they got for this thing, what else do you want me to say? I think they got the perfect mix of people. John C. Reilly is such a lovable doofus in and of itself, and the fact that they got him to voice this big guy with a heart of gold is just so awesome. If you look at this dude's big dopey smile, you can just tell that it's John C. Reilly. You don't even need the credits to tell you whose voice is behind this. You could just look at the design. And it's a really great character too. This is just a guy who wants to be recognized for the hard work he's putting in, which leads to an incredible message that sometimes you may not want to do the job that you're assigned to do, but it's important if you want to live a prosperous lifestyle. Or as they so frequently joke, Ralph has a big duty. I'm 12 years old, apparently. The person who hammers that joke in the most is Vanellope von Schweetz, who basically is presented to us as a glitch in this Mario Kart style game. Sugar Rush is what it's called. It's basically this big candy-themed racing game. And as you learn more about how she became the glitch that she is, I don't want to get too deep into spoilers or anything, just in case you haven't seen it, but it's so heartbreaking. And you just can't help but love this character and her smart-alecky ways. And again, they nailed the casting. Sarah Silverman as the little smart aleck is just, oh, pitch perfect. Don't even get me started on Jane Lynch as this hard-pressed military official. My gosh, she is so good in this movie. Her backstory is also incredibly hilarious, and I dare not give any of it away here. But I love her interactions with Fix-It Felix himself, who's voiced by Jack McBrayer, with so much optimism. Like, talk about getting the dream cast for this. And the movie also is very, very funny. It's very heartwarming as well, with a lot of great messages for people of all ages, as it should be with Disney. Now, admittedly, there are some tropes that you have to go through with Wreck-It Ralph. It's not as bad as like your liar revealed cliche that we're so used to in big animated movies like this, but you do kind of have to go through the ringer emotionally with Ralph and Vanellope. There's a bit of a misunderstanding and a conspiracy that kind of forcefully drives the two apart, and you're just kind of waiting for the apology to get to the big fun climax, which I should stress, the climax in Wreck-It Ralph, super fun. But then you kind of get to my biggest issue with Wreck-It Ralph in terms of tropes, and Disney loved doing this within the 20-teens especially, but the villain reveal. Like, you don't exactly know who the villain of the movie is until about the start of the third act. And granted, this villain's backstory is very, very clever in tying it in with this arcade's whole entire past, but it's almost like you've seen this sort of mechanism used before in other Disney movies more effectively. I honestly think the villain reveal was used more effectively in Frozen, which would come out a year after this. But for what it is, it's still really, really good. Wreck-It Ralph is just, I mean, it's not the video game dream come true style animated movie for a lot of people, like I'm sure they were hoping for, but I cannot stress enough. All these characters, Wreck-It Ralph is your main hero who's going for that medal. Very, very fun scene where he initially gets that medal too, with a very clever joke about first-person shooters in a game called Hero's Duty. Again, I gotta say the word duty on this video. Have to. But like I was saying, all these characters are just so good. Your hero, your sidekick Vanellope is so fun. Your villain is interesting. Fix-It Felix is hilarious. And this is a very colorful, entertaining ride from beginning to end. In short, Disney at its best. I'm gonna give Wreck-It Ralph an A. I love this thing. It's on a lot of people's top 10 Disney movies, which I totally understand. But I feel like with some familiar mechanisms, it kind of holds it back from a top 10 spot for me. I would say top 20, maybe even top 15 if I'm stretching it. Seriously, that's how much fun I have with Wreck-It Ralph. I rewatched this thing so many times. And that's another strength that it has, guys. The rewatchability factor, so darn entertaining. Like, if you haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph by this point, it's 10 years old. I urge you to check it out, whether it be on Blu-ray, whether it be on Disney+. There are so many easy ways to access it, folks. But let me know what you thought of Wreck-It Ralph down in the comments section below. What is your favorite video game movie of all time? Because that is a controversial topic. And if you guys enjoy discussing all things movies with me, all things Disney, this is the channel to go to. So do consider becoming a subscriber today and hit that notification bell as hard as you possibly can. Do me a favor and hit that thumbs up on your way out. That would be a tremendous help as well. A lot of stuff going on through the end of the year. I will be seeing Black Panther Wakanda Forever this Thursday night in IMAX. Oh, I don't know if I'm emotionally ready. And I'm very excited to announce my next Retro Disney review. This is the very first Disney Animation Studios project that was ever put out there. 1937 release. So this thing is turning 85 years old. And it's one of my most rewatched Disney movies from my childhood, believe it or not. We're going to be looking at Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So a lot more to look forward to, my friends. It's going to be a total blast all the way through to the end of the year and beyond. And y'all are invited to the party. Thank you all so very much for tuning into this video. I hope to see you guys again very, very soon. So with all that being said, back talk, commence!